Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike, and we would love to start our show today from what we have coming from the newspapers. And right after that will be our main conversation also for today. Do well to be part of what we do have a say in what we say. You can find us, reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise at TP7. A very so honored to have with me, joining me via Zoom from Lagos State, Nigeria, is Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, barrister, a law public affairs analyst, and Emeka Madunago, journalist, a development communicator, and a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, gentlemen, and welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Good morning.
Thank you so very much. So let's kickstart today.
So let's kickstart today
with what we have from the Guardian newspaper, and we have the big
with what
story.
we have from the Guardian
Outrage
newspaper,
over
and we
rising
have the big story.
abductions. Attack
Outrage
as
over
army
rising
rallies
abduction.
24,000 recruits. And equally on the downstrip, we have Cross River to begin forensic audit of civil servants' certificates in January. We have 230 million Nigerians to unseat Tinubu defecting governors, El Rufai says. Governor Yusuf presents a 1.36 trillion for 2026 budget, and over 6,386 cargoes are detained by Nigerian Port Authority. Customs incur 472.5 million daily demurrage. And I would love to start this episode of the show with the first story on the newspaper. Outrage over rising abduction. Attack as army rallies 24,000 recruits. Emeka, I love your say on this, especially at a time when lots of young lads, hopefuls who might want to join the military, can see what is happening to the military and the reckless callousness of the military not taking care of their own. Do you think 24,000 would be ready to line up across the country, across different ethnic groups and the region, to be part of today's Nigeria military?
Well, thank you. We've seen from the responses, to the recent recruitments that Nigerian youths are disillusioned about a career in the military. Of course, we know for many years, many years, excuse me, even before independence, people used to discourage their children from joining the military. But well, as time went on, gradually it became people started embracing it. But with the unfortunate military rule and the role the military has played, in sabotaging the political democratic process over the years. Of course, many people, and then the unfortunate incidents, concerning ethnic relations in Nigeria. So interest in the recruitment, recruitment into the military has dropped significantly. So I don't know where they're going to get the 24,000 from, because I know this is the 21st century, and this century more of ideas, technology, innovation, rather than just putting boots on the ground. The people you are going to fight are using drones. They're using sophisticated technology. The people for whom whom you are recruiting this 24,000, they're using sophisticated technology. So how do you intend to fight them with physical means? I think even that figure of 24,000 was just arrived at hastily, because how many of them are really even going to serve, are going to be deployed, in war theaters? Many are going to be attached to VIPs, as security guards. So I think, first of all, we should reorganize, our idea about the military before we now start talking about recruitment. Thank you.
All right, that's awesome. Barrister Tunji, I would love your say on this, actually. It's actually sad to note that the Nigerian military, which formerly was ahead of the curve. They went and liberated countries, Sierra Leone, Liberia, the Gambia. And today we have a Nigerian military that can't even rescue a local government from terrorists. How bad is the situation? And do you think having more boots on the ground without getting themselves off this propaganda that they have been using all the while will give us the win over insecurity in Nigeria? Barrister.
I want to align myself with the submission of Mr. Emeka.
Barrister, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
All right, so we can hardly hear Barrister right here.
Right,
but let's, Emeka, I would love you to have your say on that particular question.
Emeka, I would love you to have your say on that particular question.
Emeka, are you there?
Emeka, are you there?
All right, so we have.
I'm here, but the line
Right, so we have.
Okay, but did you get the question?
Can you hear me?
Okay,
I don't know if Barrister is there.
I don't know if
Barrister
Barrister
Tunji,
is there, but the line is
Barrister Tunji, are you there?
Oh, okay,
I'm
because
with
we
you.
can't seem to hear him here, and we hope that we'll get to fix all of the issues that we have.
We'll get to fix all of the issues that we have.
Can you hear me
all right, so let's, Emeka, did you get the question just
so
before we get a Barrister to get talking? Did you get the question or should I repeat it?
Did you get the question or should I?
Emeka, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Barrister is also here.
Yes, but we're trying to reconnect with Barrister and get him talking. I do not know what the problem exactly is this morning. I guess erratic communication problems here and there. Barrister, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so while we try to establish a better communication with the Barrister, like, I'd love you to take a go on the question. Knowing that the Nigerian military before now had handled business in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, the Gambia, and many other countries, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but across the globe. Don't you think it's sad that the current military can't even rescue a local government from insurgents? We had the military brigadier general that was killed like it didn't matter. What do you think is the problem exactly with the current Nigerian military?
Well, I think the military needs to rejig itself totally. The military needs to be, purged of saboteurs. It's evident that the military has got a lot of people who do not subscribe to the ethics, of the military, and it's sad, because loyalty to the constitution, loyalty to the nation, is the first ethic of a soldier. But sadly, you see people who sabotage their own colleagues. A mission is about to take off. There are, maybe the Air Force is about to go and bomb, suspected bases of terrorists. And then the terrorists are giving the information by people within the military. Look at what happened yesterday. A sortie of troops was going to rescue the Kebbi schoolgirls. What happened? They were ambushed on the way. Who gave the information that those troops were coming? Look at that of the Brigadier General. A Brigadier General is supposed to control between 1,500 and 5,000 to 6,000 troops. But look at how he was captured like a chicken and killed. And this is not the first time. Something like this happened in November 2021. Brigadier General Zikisu, who was killed in Chibok, while trying to push back against Boko Haram, Then now you have Brigadier General Musa Uba, killed in the Damboa axis. So that tells you that there's a lot that's not right with our military. The ground troops are doing their best, but too often you don't hear about air cover. before an operation, it's expected that intelligence, that there will be intelligence, that there will be reconnaissance. You know, I'm not in the military, but of course I have some idea about how things work in the military. There will be reconnaissance, there will be intelligence, you know, they will sniff the ground and all of that. And the military would also have elements embedded with the terrorists, with the targets. You know, but this time it looks like is the targets that have more, excuse me, that have more elements embedded in the military. And so it brings to question what actually has gone wrong with the military. In 1992, Lieutenant General Salih Ibrahim, who was the chief of army staff at that time, said the Nigerian military had become an institution, you know, where anything goes. It was at a speech. You know, I mean, I think a Nigerian Army Day celebration, 1992, he said it, that had become a place where anything goes. So you see, gradually, you know, a lot of unprofessional things had infiltrated the military. And that's why you have, you know, what you have today. The Nigerian Army was set up in 1960. Within 6 years, the Nigerian Army, you know, was already involved in a coup, had already overthrown a democratically elected government because, you know, it was, some of his officers, you know, were thrilled, you know, by the coups they saw in neighboring African countries, you know, and so they now chose to do the Nigerian version, you know. I mean, was it the Nigerian Navy set up in 1965? I think the Air Force earlier than that. The Nigerian Police, 1930. And so you just saw that within the first 5 years of independence, you know, there was this rivalry. You know, the military began to see the police as his junior. And so every effort was made to degrade the police. By 1973 or 71, when Alhaji MD Yusuf, Muhammad Diko Yusuf, was the Inspector of Police, and he made a request to buy armored personnel carriers. You know, there was this talk in the military. No, he was trying to set up the police to overthrow the military. The same people that overthrew civilians, you know, from power were now afraid. You can see that the butcher never wants a neck, you know, and never wants a knife near his neck, you know, and so they were afraid. And that was why they turned, I think they seized those APC. Then, you know, they made sure that a lot of areas where the police would have really, you know, come into his own, the police would have developed his own strength. Okay. Those areas were, you know, those areas were actually allowed to rot.
All right,
that's why it's to yes. So the third thing is that the military needs to reinvent itself. A lot, you know, a lot has gone wrong. Thank you.
Very much, Emeka. I understand that Barrister has joined us, and thank you so very much, Barrister. Well, I tried to get to you, but communication issues were a little bit problematic. So, Barrister, I'd love you to take your go on the issue of the military. Then maybe you can add this other question or answers to what I have, to the questions that I have. That is 230 million Nigerians to unseat Tinubu defecting governors, El Rufai says. Do you think we should take El Rufai seriously, knowing what he played to ensuring that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes to stay? There were those that cooked the food that we are all serving ourselves, even if some of them might be sour and bitter. But he was one amongst many that cooked the food. Do you think Nigerians should take him seriously, that there's plan for 230 million people to unseat Tinubu and other defecting governors?
Well, I don't know whether or not the issue of Nigeria taking him seriously is a different thing. And Nigeria are serious themselves to take over the government and to remove the current government. Are they serious? Are they interested? Are they concerned about the ensuring that the government that is not performing is not returned? You know, we in our country of today, it's about sentiment, it's about interest. So people are no longer looking at the performance. So if you want to get by performance, Nigeria should be able to take away the government from the things that are to take them away out of the government. But I doubt that will happen. you can see all the politicians who are fully involved in the process, either under either in support of the government or simply the money for the president. Nigerians too are also suffering. Some of them, majority of them are also in that category. So as far as I'm concerned, I think until we all decide to what's it called, do the needful, and so that the right things are done, and we see it as a responsibility on us to have a government that's not working out of office. Nothing may change, and the government will still continue from where he is now or where he stopped. Regarding the military, can you put something on nothing and nobody can? You cannot say that the military are not working. Or, if the country working, you have a structure that is working. You have a structure on ground. You have a system that can say, look, this system is a system that is working. I don't know about that. So as long as you don't have that system working, you cannot talk about what's it? The military not working. Military is a military is what's it called? It's part of the system. It's part of Nigeria, and as long as the structure in Syria is not working, the structure is not working, and the military will not work. That's what I see in it. So I will not expect a military from the military. They've been bastardized. They've not been politicized. They now work as politicians, and they work in this kind of politicians. So I don't think is the government enable? No. So many things are wrong. And it is wrong because the financial is wrong. The system is no longer done to make it work. So I will not blame or isolate the military for not performing. The military is not performing. The legislators are not performing. Every sector, all institutions are not working. So how do I expect a miracle from a particular sector? Everybody just on their own things, until we have a system like this, nothing will change. We continue in this manner.
Sad, actually, barrister. We do not know how we can actually, solve this problem where we have, we used to have a very gallant military formation, but now the military formation is no longer gallant, and those outside enemies are becoming stronger than the military. It's actually bad. Emeka, I would love you to speak to the issue that is trending all over the place, especially the Bola Tinubu's pseudo anthem, "On your mandate we shall stand." Lots of people have argued that our judges were singing it. Others were saying they were not singing it. It was the police force that was drumming it. But when someone is drumming something and you are humming it, doesn't it equally mean that you are singing it? Because though none of them actually sang the song, but everyone, was in tune with the rhythm of the song. Do you think that song would have been played in the first place, knowing how controversial it is at this time in our polity? Emeka?
Well, the person who raised the Chidi or the Kalu SN was being mischievous. And I think he should apologize to the judges for that lie. That was a piece of misinformation. The police band, whenever a dignitary is called up at a public event, we know the police band will just raise a tune, just raise a tune. It's a standard practice.
But the tune in question, Emeka, the tune in question is where the problem is.
I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm coming. They just played a tune. You were the one who called it "On Your Mandate We Shall Stand." But I can give you up to 5 songs that have that same tune. Yes. I can give you songs that have that same tune.
I wish we have the time. I would have loved to know. I would have loved to know which other song has that tune, because it's a template that everyone knows.
I'm singing one for you now. I'm singing one for you. I remember when I was a soldier. I remember. Is that not the same tune? I can sing more. Look, let me tell you, please. Let us stop politicizing things and ridiculing institutions. That is not how we progress as a nation. We must not put politics into everything. I was at the conference of editors last week at the presidential villa when President Bola Tinubu stood up, to address editors. It was the same, tune that was played just briefly for a few seconds. Did anybody make issue out of it? Or because some people are always irredeemably fixated on chaos. Or what did Professor Chidi Okekalu, what did he stand to gain from such childish nonsense? That's arrant nonsense. What do you say? Because the judges can actually decide to sue him, and they will bring different songs that have that same tune. Initially, he claimed that the judges are saying, when the video was played from the judge is standing, then I've seen interpretation. Why were the judges standing? What is it? What do we want in this country? What do we want in this country? Why did they allow? Why would the president have the effrontery to come and to allow the policeman to play such acts? And what is it? What exactly do we want? We're just making a ridicule of ourselves. So, and this democracy, we all fought for it. We should not destroy democracy because of all these childish, tantrums. The issue that the president addressed, that justice is not for sale. Instead of us to make that the fulcrum of our debate, we are talking about a tune that didn't even last for up to 1 minute. That is what we're discussing. I mean, we should think about the good of this nation. I'm not a Tinubu supporter, but what I'm saying is that this distraction is not necessary. It's not necessary. Tinubu raised certain issues that justice should not be for sale. Senator Babafemi Ojodu raised, he wrote an article which he published, claiming that certain people, had actually been bribing judges. Now, there has been a response to it from Kayode Ajulo, and I believe there will be other responses. We should be debating that. What we're talking about is a tune that lasted 30 seconds. Come on. What are we doing to ourselves? We're just ridiculing ourselves. It's not necessary. It's not good. Thank you.
Well, it might just be a little tune, but it comes with lots of sensitivity and lots of impact. Remember the kind of politics we play, especially as exacerbated by President Bola Tinubu, a politics of division, a politics of winner takes all, a policy of or politics of wiping everybody clean and wiping away the opposition. So it is not actually the fault of Odinkalu to want to raise issues like this. But Barrister.
Odinkalu is a professor of law. Odinkalu is a senior advocate of Nigeria. And with due respect, he's utterly irresponsible. It's not somebody like him that will bring it. It's utterly irresponsible. I don't care if your neighbor decides to wear clothes that are covered in feces. Must you do the same thing? If your neighbor decides to steal a fuel from people's cars, do you have to do the same thing? To prove what? Come on, we should attain to higher standards. We should attain to higher standards. Odinkalu now, you didn't get my point. He has taken the conversation away from the issues raised at the conference to trivialities. And that is the major problem we have in this country. We dwell too much on trivialities. We dwell too much on distraction, things that don't matter. Let Tinubu play first, let him do anything. And so what? Can't we live by higher standard? Yes, we can live by higher standard. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
All right. Barrister, I'd love you to have your say because this is your catchment area. You understand it better. Speak to me on issues raised, especially President Bola Tinubu saying that justice should not be for sale. And remember, the same people who have asked us Nigerians or telling judges that their judgment should not be for sale are the first people that would ask every other opposition to go to the court. And we all know what that means. It could be say, of course, go to the court, but we all know the Trojan horse behind go to court. Speak to me, Barrister, on this and, of course, what Odinkalu had saying on the anthem that was done by the police band. Barrister, are you there? Hello, Barrister, can you hear me? All right, just before we get... All right. Okay, so just before we get Barrister to talk, of course, we were speaking to the issue as raised by Odinkalo SAN on the issue that happened in Abuja, and the judges, alleging that the judges actually were singing to an anthem that is reputed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Emeka is reason that those are necessary distractions. Yes, they are necessary, but they are distractions, and we should focus on the most important item on the list as Nigerians, especially as we walk towards 2027. But given the the behemoth nature of the problems that we have in Nigeria, those are salient issues that we should talk about. But just before I get Barrister, to come back and talk to us, I would love that we just quickly move on to... Yeah, so Barrister, if you may, I'd love to ask you on the issue that Odinkalo SAN had raised, that the judges were allegedly singing to the anthem of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is on your mandate, we should stand. And equally on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu asking the judges not to sell their judgment. It is not for sale. But we all still know that the government of the day are the first persons to tell the opposition to go to court, and we all know what that means. Speak to me. This is your area of catchment. Barrister, can you hear me?
Henry, you are talking about where National Anthem sang at the NJC conference.
Yes, exactly.
Because I'm forcing myself to hear you people. That is it. I'm forcing myself.
You do what? Sorry, I can't get that. Your voice is faint a little bit. All right, so we actually do not have enough time. We're just about to wind up for this segment. But of course, let's move on to our next event for the day. That is our main conversation. That is when we return. Nigeria rejects U.S. troops, says Trump's genocide narrative is worsening insecurity in Nigeria. In a bit, still Enterprise Morning. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.